Today we're going to talk about a game that is very aptly named after a strain of weed. Of course, I'm talking about Indika. And that's very appropriately named because this game seems to be a trip and a half. How's it going, everyone? My name is fallinghurts, and I want to take just a few minutes to talk about everything you need to know about Indika before the game comes out very, very soon. Okay, let's do a who, what, when, why, and where. So, who is making the game? This is made by Oddmeter. Previously, they'd only made a VR title to my knowledge, but what really caught my attention was who was publishing the game. 11-bit. Someone who has made games that have really been in my wheelhouse lately. Most recently, they did the Thaumaturge, which I really, really loved, and the Invincible, which I liked somewhat a little bit last year. They've also got Frostpunk 2 coming out, as well as a few other games that I'm really excited for. Now, as for where you can play the game, that's going to be on PC, of course, as well as the Xbox Series and PS5. And while it was originally scheduled to be out May 8th, 2024, it's now coming May 2nd, so just a little bit sooner and just over a week at the time of this recording. And while we don't know the official price, and 11-bit always does this with their games, you don't really know until the game releases, unfortunately, I will say that their wheelhouse is anywhere between $35 and $45 US, so I would probably expect this one to be coming in at 35 to 40, just from the seeing of things, but, maybe that's up to your own kind of theory crafting. Now, with that being said, there's really two other things I wanted to go through. First of which, the store page for the game tells you pretty much everything on a base level you need to know, but I wanted to end the video with some of my thoughts on the actual demo for the game itself, which is no longer available to play, but you could have played it a couple months back, and it was really good. So if you've already gotten all the information you need, go ahead. I'll see you later. Consider subscribing. But otherwise, in Indika, you play a third-person, story-driven game set in alternative Russia at the turn of the 19th century, where religious visions clash with harsh reality. And it'll tell the story of a young nun who sets off on a journey of self-discovery with the most unusual companion by her side, the devil himself. So already you see a strong juxtaposition between two different moralities throughout the game, and even in the demo you're treated to that very, very strongly. Quite literally the devil on your shoulder, if you will. But going through the features of the game, it lists this: a third-person perspective adventure game that combines an imaginative story with a dark sense of humor. And that's one thing else I got from the trailer. This game can present everything to you, whether it be fear, horror, tension, humility, humanity. All of these things feel very strong within the world of Indika, and I like that a lot. Another thing that's mentioned is that you will travel through a surreal landscape of Russia seen in a distorted mirror. Now, how exactly that means, I'm not quite sure, but one thing I really enjoyed about this environment and this setting is the constant feeling of gritty coldness that is just all-encompassing, especially throughout the demo, the trailers. All of these different aspects really come together to go against some of the UI and actual gameplay elements that I'll get into in just a minute. But the final feature that they majorly talk about is you'll need to uncover the hidden depths of Indika's soul while tackling unique puzzle elements. Now, there are definitely puzzles throughout this trailer. One thing that you can do in this game is pray at a will, and sometimes that can shift perspective. It can, calm things down when things are getting crazy from the devil, and it can shift reality and change your platforming in a little ways. It's not a platformer where you can jump around and do all these different things, but you can open up different paths, as one example. But most of the puzzles I've seen throughout the game are just like that. You're going to be opening a new path forward by, moving a cart or turning a lever the right way at the right time, and it feels really strong. There's also, of course, tightrope walking is something that you can do, and it's really fun, intense moments. There are chase sequences where you are going to have to navigate correctly through environments. So I don't think this is going to be a simple, press W on the keyboard to walk forward and you've gotten all of your story and your gameplay. But at the end of the day, the main thing that really interests me is the focus on religion, which, there's notes and things to find throughout the world. It provides a good bit of, world building, and some of the cutscenes from the demo really implied a lot about what had happened previously in the story that we didn't get to see yet. But what truly has me excited is the game's focus on religion. That said, the subjects of religion and authority are present throughout Indika's journey, and she'll be faced with many questions along the way. You're going to have to guide her to find the answers one by one before she can finish her life-defining odyssey. Indika's unusual connection with the Evil One leads her on an errand beyond the safe walls of the monastery. The world she discovers can only be described as a wild combination of comedy and tragedy. And in my opinion, horror and comedy have always gone hand in hand. Look at movies like Scream. They work really well, even if it's just thriller-esque. And while this is taking a completely different approach, it's interesting how they've gamified a lot of the actual elements of the game. So your religion and your faith has been turned into a point system. So as you find collectibles or different items that you can interact with throughout the world or get through certain objective points, your faith will go up and you'll gain points, and you'll eventually be able to spend them on different things. Whether you're getting an extra point every so often or you get double every time you get points, it's hard to explain exactly what I mean without saying that it feels like ultimately you're just trying to get the highest score possible by the time the game runs out. And I'm curious if just this flat out point system is going to affect what ending you get, or, different cutscenes, things like that. I'm not really clear on that, but I can definitely see where, just this number value could impact the story or your experiences overall. That being said, the game looks great. I'm really excited for it. I hope to have a review for it out as soon as possible, but we'll see how that goes. Consider subscribing for more videos like this. I really appreciate any support you give, and consider following me on Twitter at fallinghurts1, and you can tell me there how I did on the video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.